He waited at the station for his wife to return. 3 grandchildren suddenly showed up. He took his wife's bag and walked away unhappy. His face was cold. 17 years ago his daughter ran away for love and lost contact. No news after that. His marriage was falling apart and he was about to divorce. No time to care for the kids made him think of their grandfather. He suddenly became a grandfather and was very unhappy. The car ride home felt heavy and tense. Before he could speak, Rhea started complaining. He saw the kids' disgusted looks. They drove into a deep forest house. Long road surrounded by trees. They arrived still annoyed with each other. Ade got out and looked around. Upstairs they found very weak signal. Phones barely had signal. Ade said they would stay here for 2 months. Very disappointed. They found a small weak signal in a corner. Their mood slightly improved. They soon had their first meal. Eggplant beef stew was served. Co looked disgusted. Said they should not eat cows. Grandfather said it was bad beef, so it was used for food. Co reluctantly accepted it. Rhea said she was vegetarian and did not eat beef. Said cows pollute the air. Ade took a bite and spit it out. He thought it tasted bad. Later he only drank tea and ate fruit. Everyone was unhappy during the meal. After eating the kids left the table. Grandfather complained to his wife. The kids upstairs were also complaining. Time passed until the next morning. The next morning came. Ade used the weak signal to get online. Paul came over from work. They sat awkwardly together. A dog ran over and broke the tension. Paul told Ade not to always be online. Said the internet has germs. Ade corrected him saying it was virtual viruses not germs. Said he could help set up a social account for grandfather. Paul refused and said it was troublesome. He learned Rhea was still sleeping. Paul left with the dog. The dog was sent to wake Rhea upstairs. Rhea came down to smoke. Paul stopped him from smoking inside. Ade defended Rhea and argued with grandfather. Tension rose again. Their mother called on video. Told them to behave and apologize to grandfather. Said she had not contacted him for years. The kids stayed silent. The next morning, grandmother took them to town. Rhea picked a hat for grandmother. As an apology for being rude. Ade met 2 girls in town. Rhea was invited by a pizza shop owner. Town life was lively. Their attitudes began to change. The grandkids decided to stay for a while. As they spent more time together, changes slowly appeared. Rhea began asking about grandparents' past. Grandmother talked about the grandfather when he was young. The grandfather was a hippie when young. He traveled many countries on a motorcycle. Grandmother brought out old photos. The photos showed them young and free. The grandkids began seeing grandfather differently. Co was a quiet deaf child. He often watched the grandfather work. The grandfather noticed him and called him over. Took him to see the chicken coop. Explained how chicks grow. Also showed him rabbits. Let him touch the animals. Asked Co to help watch the water pipes. Co carefully watched the water flow. The grandfather started smiling at him. They planted tomatoes and picked apricots together. The grandfather warned not to drink water after eating apricots. The grandmother invited him to the bull festival. The grandfather hesitated. Co held the grandfather and wanted to go. The grandfather agreed to take him. At the bull festival, Co sat on his shoulder watching the event. The grandfather felt the festival mood. After the event ended, Ade introduced new friends to Rhea. Rhea was invited to dance by the pizza shop owner. Co warned the grandfather. The grandfather came and took Rhea away. Rhea later went back to the pizza shop owner. She was taken to a mountaintop. The owner's behavior crossed the line. Rhea did not notice. She returned home with marks on her neck. An engine sound appeared. A group of hippies arrived. They were the grandfather's old friends. Ade secretly made an account and contacted them. Friends came to meet him. The grandfather did not blame Ade. The grandfather drank and talked with his friends. They remembered their youth traveling on motorcycles. The kids slowly understood the past. The grandfather mentioned a friend who died. Someone died during the trip. The grandfather chose to live in isolation. The atmosphere became quiet. The next day Ade saw the pizza shop owner with someone else. He told Rhea about it. Rhea could not accept it. Ade started helping with farm work. The grandfather had run the olive grove for many years. He was very devoted to the olive trees. He cared about them more than many things. Ade and the grandfather worked in the fields. Rhea avoided talking about her parents' divorce. She ran out of the house. The grandfather chased after her. Ade vented his emotions on the grandfather. Their relationship began to change. The grandfather began to understand Ade, and started showing care, but still did not understand Rhea. On the way home the grandfather ate apricots and drank water. Caused him to become sick. Rhea angrily reported his driving. Police came but did not arrest the grandfather, because they knew him and understood the situation. Rhea and the grandfather were still tense. A postman delivered a letter. The grandfather thought it was about an accident. He felt uneasy. He let his wife read it first. It was news of an olive oil award. After years of effort he got first place. The grandfather was happy. The town celebrated him. He mentioned his daughter but still had no contact. The grandfather saw Rhea with the pizza shop owner again. His emotions changed again. He went over to deal with it. The grandfather learned he had won first place in olive oil competition. Years of hard work were finally recognized. He held a celebration in town. He told everyone the news. He still mentioned his daughter but had no contact. He felt a bit of loss. Just then he saw Rhea with the pizza shop owner again. He became a upset. He went over and confronted them. The grandfather and Rhea had a heated argument. Emotions got out of control. The grandfather slapped Rhea. The pizza shop owner was also pushed down. Rhea broke down and left. No one went home that night. The grandmother waited until morning, then received a call from Rhea. The grandmother told the grandfather. The grandfather realized the problem was serious. He began blaming himself. He thought drinking and violence caused it. He decided to quit alcohol. He wanted to change himself, no longer use violence. He went to see a doctor. Doctor advised more exercise to help recovery from alcohol. Ade exercised with the grandfather. They played sports games. They had fun while exercising. The grandfather began learning younger ways. His condition began to change. They rode bikes together, through country roads, passing sheep. The ride was bumpy but calmer. Rhea was taken on a date by the pizza shop owner. They went between the sea and mountains. Rhea slowly trusted him. She noticed nothing unusual. The grandfather heard news from friends. The pizza shop owner was actually a drug dealer, using the pizza shop as a cover for illegal trade. The grandfather was shocked. He went home immediately. He took out his old car. He took out a gun. He prepared to go rescue Rhea. He drove fast. The engine was loud. He was extremely tense. He passed a gas station. He hesitated about calling friends. He chose to go alone. He did not want to involve others. He followed the location to the beach. He found the pizza shop owner with Rhea. The atmosphere was off. The grandfather stepped in immediately. A conflict broke out. The scene became chaotic. He drove the man away. Rhea collapsed on the beach unconscious. He immediately took her home. Doctors gave emergency treatment. Rhea was out of danger. The grandmother felt very guilty. She thought her allowance caused it. The grandfather became silent. He worried Rhea would repeat her mother's fate. Rhea returned home after recovery. The family sat outside together. The atmosphere was briefly calm. The grandfather took Rhea to the lake. He gave her a coin to throw into the lake for good luck. Rhea gradually calmed down. The grandfather told his story with the grandmother. They were young, free and romantic. They traveled by motorcycle together. They went through many countries. It was a long journey. The grandmother added old photos, showing their young life. Rhea finally understood their past. She began to change her view of them. Family relations gradually improved. Co remained the quietest child. He approached the grandfather in his own way. The grandfather continued farming with him. He taught him planting and animal care. Their relationship became closer. They worked together in the fields. They rested together. In daily life, the grandfather gradually changed his attitude toward the kids. No longer strict and cold, more caring and understanding. The holiday was ending. The kids prepared to leave. They said goodbye to the grandparents. The family went together to the station. The mother came to pick up the kids. After 17 years they reunited at the station. The grandfather and daughter faced each other again. The atmosphere was tense and complex. The kids were returned to their mother. Co held his mother's hand and led her to the grandfather, making them face each other. Silence lasted for a while. They finally started talking. Past conflicts slowly softened. The kids left Provence. The grandfather stayed in the countryside, continuing to run the olive grove. Life returned to calm. But the relationships had changed. This summer will never end.